enjoy Storytime. This week, or this month actually, we are highlighting members of the African diaspora. So whether they're African, African American, um, Afro Caribbean, it doesn't really matter as long as they fall inside of the African diaspora. And we learned last week that diaspora means disbursement of peoples. So we are reading two works tonight. So if you have an opportunity, just log on in and see. The first one is by Rita Hubbard, which is called Hammering for Freedom. This is actually based on a true story, so I'm really excited to read this one with you. And this is the William Lewis story. It's a story about a man named William Lewis, who was Rita Hubbard's family member, one of her great family members. And it reads, one starry night in 1810, William Bill Lewis was born on a plantation in Winchester, Tennessee. Bill and his family were enslaved and worked long, grueling days on Colonel Lewis's fields. Each evening, after the sun had disappeared and had taken all the colors with it, Bill and his mother, aunt, brothers, and sister returned to their little cabin, exhausted. Bill watched his mother, Jenny, drop like a wilted flower and lower herself onto a rickety stool to rest. He stood close to comfort her and wished he could do more. As soon as Bill was old enough to grip a hammer, Colonel Lewis decided that the young boy should be a blacksmith. Bill put away tools, swept ashes, and hauled coal and water. Later, he learned to fit hinge joints together, make and repair tools, and work with fire. Bill had not asked to become a blacksmith, but he was very good at it. People paid Colonel Lewis to have Bill fix their broken things. He earned so much money fixing old tools and creating new ones that Colonel Lewis let Bill keep a little money for himself. As Bill's stack of coins grew, so did his hopes and dreams. Each coin he saved brought him closer to purchasing his freedom. Once he was free, he could spend his money on whatever he wanted, and what he wanted was to free his family. I'm sure everybody gets this. Year after year, Bill hammered steel, forged tools, and saved the few coins he was allowed to keep. When he was in his 20s, he married a kind woman named Jane, and a few years later, they had a son named Eldridge. As Bill settled his plump, squirming baby in the crook of his arm, he felt a new weight of responsibility. He would have to work longer and harder if he was going to change his family's circumstances. Bill had been doing more than saving all these years. He had also been planning. He knew slave owners often rented out enslaved men and women to make extra money. So Bill decided to ask Colonel Lewis to let him rent himself. If the colonel agreed, Bill's time would be his own to work day and night, as many hours as he could stand, until he saved enough to free not only Jane and Eldridge, but also his mother, aunt, brothers, and sister. Colonel Lewis thought carefully about this proposal. He had one condition: pay me $350 a year to rent your freedom, he said, and you can keep whatever else you earn. Bill agreed. At 27 years old, he set his daring plan in motion. After he paid Colonel Lewis the rent from his savings, Bill still had enough money to open his own blacksmith shop. He chose the perfect location, a bustling little city called Chattanooga that needed a handy blacksmith. Bill packed his tools and his dreams and with a heavy heart left Jane, baby Eldridge, and his other family members behind. In 1837, when he opened his shop on Market Street, Bill made history as the first African American blacksmith in the city. Ding, ching. Wearing a thick leather apron to protect against flying sparks, Bill went to work on his first job, the bell and clapper of the little long building sitting right in the middle of town. When the bell sounded, Chattanoogans would know a town meeting was about to begin. Every morning, while the sky was still purple and blue, Bill stretched his muscles and gripped a hammer. Clang, clang. All through the day, his hammering sang its song. The white hot iron spat liquid fire as Bill forged and shaped stitches, mallets, and other instruments, which he sold for 50 cents or $1 to as many customers. Ding, ching. When other shops closed for the day, Bill kept working. He didn't stop until the burnt orange sky faded to pitchy black. Bill was ready for the next step in his plan, buying Jane's freedom. Once Jane was free, any future children she and Bill would have would also be free. Bill traveled back to the Lewis plantation with a white escort who would handle the transaction with the colonel. Bill and Jane held their breath as the escort handed over the payment. This makes $1,000, said Colonel Lewis. Jane is free. The expressions on Bill's and Jane's faces did not change in front of the colonel, but when they were safely home in Chattanooga, they celebrated Jane's freedom. Bill got right back to work. Ding, ching. Bill's workday consisted of more than just fixing old tools. He also created special nails that could be used to secure horseshoes. He sold these for a few pennies each. When he built new wagons that farmers used to haul vegetables, hay, and family members, Bill charged as much as $5.50 per job. People everywhere depended on Bill's calloused, talented hands. After many bone wearying years, Bill returned to Winchester. $1,000, Colonel Lewis announced. Then he placed some papers in Bill's hands. Bill had never learned to read, but he knew what those papers meant. Free, he whispered. I'm free. Still, there was no time to waste. Eldridge is still enslaved, Bill thought. He needed to save his money all over again to buy his son's freedom. Clang, clang, hammer and steel rang out as Bill forged every kind of axe, kitchen tool, and utensil imaginable. Customers came from far and wide to buy what Bill made. Bill returned to Winchester and paid Colonel Lewis $400. Then, with a song in his heart, he took Eldridge home to Chattanooga. Ding, ching, clang. Eldridge proudly watched his father plunge the sizzling tools deep in the water trough. As he grew, Eldridge arranged the new tools on the wall and helped customers to shop. Busy as he was, Bill always had time to be a good neighbor. He chatted with customers about the latest news and hired men who needed jobs. He also worshiped in the local Methodist church. The church was segregated, but everyone sang together in songs of praise. Bill's neighbors, his customers, and the members of the congregation grew to love him as an important member of the community. In 1851, Bill paid the colonel $300, the total asking price for his elderly mother and aunt. His mother, Jenny, and his aunt hurried toward him with open arms. Then Jenny laid her head on Bill's shoulders. Hallelujah, she whispered. They were finally free. Bill wanted to shout with joy, but he noticed his siblings' faces. His sister was wiping away tears. His brothers waved slowly and hung their heads. Bill clenched his jaws with determination. He would simply have to work harder to buy their freedom too. Ding! Ching! Bill slung his hammer with such force that his face was drenched with sweat and his chest felt as if it might explode. Somehow he kept working. Dozens of bluish purple sunrises and burnt orange sunsets passed before he returned to Winchester with $2,000 to buy freedom for his two brothers. When Bill was nearly 50, he and Jane realized they needed a bigger house for their 10 children and extended family. Bill chose a two-story home with lots of bedrooms and a big front porch that the family could enjoy. People were stunned when Bill paid $2,000 in cash for the house. Most white men could not pay that much money for a home in those days. Bill and his family settled in and planted a big vegetable garden. The house was more crowded than ever, but someone was missing. Bill's sister was still enslaved. Bill was much older now than when he first put his plan into action, but he kept on swinging his hammer and saving his money until his sister could finally join them. 26 years after Bill's arrival in Chattanooga, his plan was complete. He had worked, sweated, and prayed. Now he finally had his loving family around him, just like when he was a boy. Only now they were all free. There's an afterword to this as well, just talking more about Bill and his family. But I wanted to show you this picture on the back, which is more than an illustration. It's a real picture of Bill and his extended family and what it was in the early 1800s to rent yourself out and to work for your own freedom. That was almost unheard of, especially in the deep South, in the South like Tennessee. So that meant that he had to have a somewhat compassionate owner who would allow him to do such a thing, especially since what he could do was lucrative, right? But then also um, a determination that was quite unique because he had a skill set that other people needed. So it was really interesting, this story, and how not only did he get his own freedom, but he went ahead and made sure that his entire family could be free into perpetuity before the American Civil War. And that was an amazing feat. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. You can get your copy, of course, from Amazon, but you can also, I got this at the local library and I saw the imagery, and I wanted to take a look at it. So, Hammering for Freedom is a really good read if you ever have an opportunity to go through with your family. Now we're on to book number two. This one is shorter and it's more kind of up to date, but this one was written by one of my Spelman sisters and it's called Same Difference. Same Difference by my Spelman sister, Claudia Garcia Rawles. This was gifted to me when Madison was little by my other Spelman sister and sorority sister, Joy, and Joy Garner. And I just wanted to share this one with you because I thought it was really cute. It's very appropriate because we know that colorism exists inside of the African diaspora. And so I wanted to share this one with you just really quick. Lisa and Rita were just the same. practically twins, even down to their names. They were first cousins who loved to play. They were never apart, not even for a day. Lida and Lisa danced to the same beat, sang the same songs, and even sat in the same seat. On hot days, they swam at the pool and walked home together every day after school. When they played, they shared imaginary friends, hosted tea parties, and hoped the days would never end. One day at their grandmother's house, they dressed in their beautiful pearls and became more than just two pretty little girls. In front of the mirror, they played like princesses, but when they looked closely, they just saw differences. Hmm. Lisa said with a big frown, "Your skin is tan and my color is brown." Lida said, "Your hair is short and mine is long. One of our hairstyles must be wrong." Confused, the two girls ran straight to their grandmother. Together they asked, "Why don't we look like each other?" Grandmother said with a grin, "To me, you look just like twins. You both have on pink dresses and shoes and even have the same cute hairdos." "No, no, that's not right," Lisa said. "My skin is dark and hers is light. And our hair is different too. We're not the same no matter what we do." "Is one better?" asked Lida. "Is one worse? If this was a contest, who would come in first?" "Oh, children, let me explain. You can be different and still be the same. No one is better. No one is first. You come from people who look very diverse, like different times in the same day. Both are beautiful in their own way." Lida, your skin color is like the morning's golden sky with rich vanilla creams and honey yellow clouds passing by. Lisa, your skin color has cinnamon red hues mixed with sweet purple plums and the sky's midnight blue. I know hair is special to a little girl, but let me tell you both have the same curl. Just different sizes, one big and one small. Having natural beauty is special to us all. Lida, your hair looks like waves in the sea, swirls as thick as molasses flowing carefree. So now I hope you see just how wonderful you both can be. Oh, I'm sorry, you skipped one. Lisa, your hair twirls like the wind with tiny little curls built right in, soft as cotton candy, puffy as a cloud. You both have ponytails that make me very proud. So now I hope you see just how wonderful you both can be. Light or dark skin, short or long hair. You're both special because of what you share. Lida and Lisa decided to play in front of the mirror for the rest of the day. They were two happy girls, no more, no less, just the same smile in the same pink dress. Same difference is what they would say if their hair or skin ever got in their way. They were first cousins who loved to play. They were never apart, not even for a day. The end. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today for story time. We will have another story time next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That probably won't be a double read, but it will be a read from an author from the African diaspora. So I hope you have a phenomenal rest of your day. I hope you have a great week ahead. Go be great on purpose and take good care. God bless you. Good night. Sweet dreams, everybody.